Alright, so as you just saw, I went to the Twin Cities Auto Show this past weekend, like 2 days ago, and I'm basically just kind of run through it, tell you guys what I thought about it, and what the experience was like, because it's the Twin Cities Auto Show, right? It's important to realize that this is Minnesota. These car shows are not the craziest things full of exotics, but when we first walked into the big room, 450,000 square feet of cars, and you know, if you're like me and you love exotics and stuff, you would have been sorely disappointed because it was basically all SUVs and crossovers, because anything that's not four-wheel drive makes 0 sense in Minnesota. So we started heading over to the right, and the first sort of group that we hit, the entire floor was divided up into different companies, right? So there's like the Mercedes section and the Audi section and all these different sections. And we started in the Mercedes section, and you know, there were a few like GLKs, GLAs, one GLE I think, but really the highlight of that Mercedes section there was they had a neon green G550 AMG that had all the carbon fiber options on the mirrors and the trim and stuff like that, and it was like the suspension was raised too, which was really cool. Not sure anyone would actually buy that here, but that was pretty cool coming from the Mercedes section. And you know, we kind of worked our way around the back of the room, walking through you know, Volkswagen, Volvo, really nothing to write home about in that area, until we got to the back section, which was Acura. And I was actually surprised they did have an NSX there, which if for some reason you don't know, is Acura's new sports car, supercar type thing. It has an engine and an electric motor in the back, and an electric motor on each of the front wheels for all-wheel drive. It's the same type of technology that's in the Porsche 918 Spyder, which at an MSRP of around $150,000, I think the one that we saw there was about $159,000, is a steal for the type of technology you're getting. Plus, they're already depreciating like mad. You can get them for in the low 140s, I think. So that was a highlight. We kind of moved our way through, looking around at some of the other stuff. Nothing really crazy until we got to Alfa Romeo 4C Spyder, which is the most completely impractical car on the planet. And then there was another NSX in red this time that we could actually walk up to and, you know, touch, I guess, look around it. It was pretty cool because that was the first time I actually seen one of the new NSXs in person. Trying to see it sheltered in Minnesota. Then, let's see what else they had there. They had an F-Type that was blue. That was pretty cool. I personally, the only Jaguar I'd consider getting. And then as you moved over to the left a little bit more, you could see the Bentleys. There was a Continental GT there. There was a Bentayga, I don't know how you want to say it, whatever. There was one of those there. And then my personal favorites right there were the Aston Martin. I'm a huge Aston Martin fan, and I was super happy when they saw that Minnesota was finally getting a dealership. Haven't made my way over there yet. Probably will soon once it warms up a bit, and I'll make sure to make a video on that. But they had a V12 Vantage S there, which is by far my favorite Aston Martin. And they also had one of the new DB11s, which was pretty cool. And then we went through the Audi section. Nothing really to write home about. There was an S8, S4, a few A-class stuff. And then, you know, front and center, they had a 2017 Audi R8 V10 Plus, which I love as a car. I've seen it do 0 to 60 in like 2.9 seconds, which is absolutely crazy. I think it's a great looking car. A lot of people, including my dad, who I was with at the show, disagrees, says it looks stupid, the front end's too short. I don't know, I like it a lot, but yeah, overall, Audi section, pretty cool. I do like Audis, especially the R8s, and especially how the new ones look. But yeah, other than that, nothing crazy. So from there, we kind of walked over to the actual Jaguar section. You know, they had another F-Type. Their new crossover was there, which was kind of a surprise to me. I wasn't too sure what I thought about their new crossover. I haven't heard a lot about it, but it looked fine. It looked small, but it looked fine. We kind of worked our way up that side a tiny bit more, went and looked at some of the Range Rovers. You could see they were just ridiculously expensive for what they are. One of the things personally, I think if you want an SUV in Minnesota, you're probably going to want something that can have a third row of seats, right? If you're going to get a big, like, just a larger SUV, probably, like, you have little kids. Your little kids probably have friends, and they probably are going to want a third row, and, you know, none of the Range Rovers have that option, which kind of sucks. But still, it's, you know, the sportiness of a sports car, along with the SUV, you know, feel to it. There is a lot of room in the back seats of the Range Rover, because there's no third row. Yeah, and from there, we kind of moved our way up a little bit. Things got a little interesting here. They do have an option to test drive some cars. Ford specifically is what we kind of went there for. And they did have a Mustang, and we did drive it, but it was a 2017, one of the 4-cylinder EcoBoost engines. And I don't know, personally, I didn't even think it was exciting enough to include in the video, because, like, my car right now makes more noise than that thing did. And this is a stock BMW 3 Series from 2007. If you're getting a Mustang, you don't want a 4-cylinder EcoBoost engine. So yeah, that was a huge disappointment. But you know, I don't know why anyone would ever get one of those. They had a GTR Nismo package, which was pretty cool. I'd never seen one of those per se in person. Not much to talk about with that car. My dad did not like the way it liked for some reason. He thought the hood scoops were too small and all that stuff. But I don't know, I think I like the way it looks. It's a GTR. It's going to look like a GTR. It's going to perform like a GTR, and that's what you want with a GTR. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Nothing else really in the Nissan section that, you know, I was happy to see. There was a Juke, which made me want to kill myself. But, yeah, other than that, the GTR was a pretty cool car to see there, especially with the Nismo package. Took a look at this freaking Jeep obstacle course. Okay, now this thing was like nothing else I've ever seen. In the, like, the far left side, like as you walk into the major room, Jeep had this entire side, and it was set up with a freaking, like, mountain. There was a staircase. There were just weird humps and stuff in the ground that were like 6 feet tall. And they had Wranglers and all the way to Grand Cherokees going on this giant freaking obstacle course. They got a Grand Cherokee, and you'll see it here. The entire front half of the car was like 8 feet in the air until it got over this like little hump thing, and then it like fell back down on itself, and the shocks like absorbed it. It was absolutely insane. And they have it go just straight up a stairwell, like a regular stairwell. All of the cars are doing this from the Jeep lineup, which was really, really impressive, because I do not know of any other cars that would have been able to withstand that kind of abuse. But we didn't go on that because the line was like ridiculously long, but it was super cool to see these cars like flying through the air. So we got to the actual Alfa Romeo section. They had the new Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, whatever, the Giulia, their new sedan, which actually looks really nice, I'd say. I don't know a whole ton about it besides the fact that it's an Alfa, and I wouldn't buy it for that reason. But you know, it comes in, MSRP is like $55,000 or something like that. It's relatively cheap, and it looks good. So if you don't want, not worried about your car just, you know, being an absolute piece of garbage, go for it. And then they had another 4C there, and you know, personally, I think the 4C is great as a toy. Like, if you've got the money, you've got other cars, and you want to drop 55 grand on a toy that you go drive around on Sundays for an hour because it's fun and brutal, then go for it. I'm all for that. It's a fun little car, but it is the most impractical thing on the planet. And they had the Ghibli GTS, which is the top of the line Ghibli that you can get stock. And that MSRP was right around like 79,000. From what I hear, I haven't driven one, but from what I hear, they're really, really good cars, especially for the price of, you know, brand new GTS top line at 79,000. Not to mention, you can lease one for ridiculously cheap these days. They're in the low 400s, I think, on some places you can find them for that cheap. So, might be one car to look into. No Gran Turismos, nothing crazy from the Maseratis. Alright, and I am voicing over the rest of this little bit here because for some reason the video disappeared. I have no idea where it is. But anyway, we worked our way over to the Ford section, and there's a bunch of, you know, Fords, whatever they've got going on these days. Highlight of the show was definitely the new 2018 Ford Mustang. Say something in the comments about what you think about it. You can see they very obviously sloped the front of the hood downwards. They claim it gives it a meaner look. I think it looks kind of weird, like the front of the very front of the car is like falling off and just slipping off. I don't know. Yeah, just let me know how you feel about that, because I know there's been a ton of controversy over the new body styles. I do like the built-in hood scoops that are there. Those are a little bit reworked from the previous generations. And obviously this is the 5.0 GT, the only Mustang that you should ever consider getting, because all the EcoBoost things aren't even Mustangs. They had a few other GTs here that were pretty cool to go look at. Something a little bit more in probably my taste, but still, I don't know, if I was going to get a Mustang, I'd go with a little bit older one, just because of personal preference. They have one in yellow and one in black. Here's the yellow one. Pretty cool looking car. I do really like the Mustangs, especially the GTs. Well, only the GTs. And I did forget to mention one thing, the Nissan section. They had a GTR Nismo package, which was pretty cool. I'd never seen one of those, per se, in person. Not much to talk about with that car. My dad did not like the way it liked for some reason. He thought the hood scoops were too small and all that stuff. But I don't know, I think I like the way it looks. It's a GTR, it's going to look like a GTR, it's going to perform like a GTR, and that's what you want with a GTR. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Nothing else really in the Nissan section that, you know, I was happy to see. There was a Juke, which made me want to kill myself. But, yeah, other than that, the GTR was a pretty cool car to see there, especially with the Nismo package. And there were a few other random sort of cars here and there. Like they just had this Dodge Challenger Hellcat chilling over here, which is pretty cool to go get a look at. They had all the doors open, and you could see the engine that we have going on in here. And I was pointing out to a few people walking by how they actually removed one of the headlights as an air intake for the supercharger that they put in the Hellcat, and then just created a random glass ball to go in the other headlight thing for symmetry. Thanks, Dodge. It does absolutely nothing. There were a few other cars. This like race car here, which was pretty cool. They actually had a Lego Batmobile, which was pretty cool to look at, and just a bunch of random stuff. And then finally, there were a few Corvettes, just Stingrays chilling out in the corner for some reason. And yeah, they were pretty cool to look at. Nothing special about them, not even like Z06. So, yeah, that about wraps it up for what I saw at the Twin Cities Auto Show in 2017. There was a classics section upstairs, but I'm not huge into classics, and it wasn't a terribly great section, so I didn't put any of it into here. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I got a ton of videos coming out within the next few weeks. So be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.